You hear the news drop, and for a second, you're not sure it's real. Shedeur Sanders, starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns in Week 1, over Joe Flacco, over every other veteran, over the tired formula the Browns have recycled for decades. And just like that, everything changes. The internet explodes. Sports Twitter basically bursts into flames. If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed. Joe Flacco's trending, not because he's starting, but because he's not. And the rookie, Shedeur Sanders, he's been handed the keys to one of the most cursed franchises in the NFL. Not next year, not halfway through the season. Now, so what happened? How do we go from maybe he'll see the field in garbage time to this man is the future of the franchise in what feels like 5 seconds? Let's rewind, because this moment didn't come out of nowhere. There were breadcrumbs. You just had to be paying attention. First off, Shedeur Sanders wasn't supposed to be the guy. At least not yet. This was supposed to be another transitional year, a holding pattern, a soft reboot. Joe Flacco was brought in for stability, a veteran presence, someone who could take hits, make safe throws, and let the Browns defense do the heavy lifting. That's the story we were sold. But behind the scenes, something else was cooking. At training camp, people started whispering that Shedeur was showing up with real NFL poise, that his reads were sharp, his footwork tight, his leadership undeniable. It wasn't just hype from Dion's old press crew. This was respected coaches and skeptical vets admitting, this kid might actually be that good. Still, no one expected the Browns to pull the trigger. Because, let's be honest, this is Cleveland we're talking about. A team with more quarterback chaos than a daytime soap opera. They've drafted, signed, benched, and recycled so many QBs over the years, it's basically a meme at this point. So when Shedeur started out third on the depth chart, most people thought, cool, let the kid learn behind the old heads and maybe get some reps in December. But then came preseason. And preseason changed everything. You remember watching it. First series. Shedeur steps onto the field with that calm swagger. He doesn't just play well. He commands the offense. His decision-making, crisp. His pocket presence, veteran level. His accuracy, surgical. And every time he walked back to the sideline, you saw it in his teammates' eyes. They believed in him. Meanwhile, Joe Flacco looked fine. Not terrible, not amazing. Just fine, which in any other year might have been enough. But suddenly fine wasn't cutting it. Because fine doesn't light up the crowd. Fine doesn't energize the locker room. And fine doesn't look like the future. So when the Browns announced Shedeur Sanders as QB1, it wasn't just a depth chart update. It was a statement, a line in the sand. This franchise is done playing it safe. And Joe Flacco? Oh, he's fuming. Can you blame him? The man thought he was walking into a mentor role, maybe even one last ride as a starter. Instead, he's getting benched for a 21-year-old rookie whose dad made more headlines than most NFL players ever do. From Flacco's perspective, it probably feels like he just got leapfrogged by celebrity hype. But that's the thing, this wasn't about hype. This was about results. Let's talk about that, because there were plenty of skeptics. People quick to say Shedeur only got the job because of his name, that this was a PR stunt, that the Browns were chasing clicks, not wins. And you know what? In a league full of chaotic decisions, that theory wasn't totally wild. Except it doesn't hold up because Shedeur earned this. This kid isn't just good, he's mentally tough. You've seen it. He's taken hits, both literal and metaphorical, and kept showing up like nothing can shake him. The pressure of the spotlight? He's been under it since high school. The critics? He's been silencing them with every snap. Shedeur has this calm fire. He doesn't yell, he doesn't panic. He leads, with intelligence, with control, with swagger that's actually backed by work. And the Browns? For once, they saw that and said, let's build around this guy instead of breaking him. It's kind of poetic, right? After years of throwing rookie QBs to the wolves, Cleveland's finally doing it right. Shedeur wasn't rushed and blind. They kept things quiet. Let him learn. Let him develop. Let him show the team, not the media, that he was ready. And when that moment came, they didn't blink. That's a culture shift. Because this isn't just about Shedeur starting. It's about what he represents. A team that's tired of rinse and repeat QB disasters. A locker room that's hungry for something real. A fan base that's been burned so many times they can barely feel their hands. And now, finally, they have something to believe in. You felt that shift when the news broke. Browns fans weren't just surprised, they were excited. The energy flipped. Suddenly it's not about limping through another rebuild. It's about chasing something new, something sustainable. And let's be honest, when was the last time Cleveland felt hopeful about a quarterback? Exactly. Of course, it's not all sunshine and Super Bowl dreams. There's pressure, massive pressure. Shedeur Sanders is walking into a city with sky-high expectations and no patience. Every throw will be analyzed. Every interception will spark a debate. Every win or loss, we either crown him a savior or call for his benching. But guess what? He knows that, and he's ready for it. That's what sets him apart. It's not just the mechanics, it's the mentality. He's not rattled. He's not distracted. He doesn't crumble under the spotlight. He owns it. And that's exactly what Cleveland needs right now. Not just a quarterback, but a leader. And maybe, just maybe, a new face of the franchise. Now, back to Joe Flacco for a second. Because while he might not be thrilled, this isn't the end of his story either. He's still a pro, still a mentor, still someone Shedeur can lean on. If he plays it right, he can transition into that wise vet role, the Obi-Wan to Shedeur's Luke Skywalker. Or he can stew on the bench and become another subplot in the Browns' never-ending quarterback drama. Up to him. But for now, the spotlight's moved, and all eyes are on Shedeur Sanders. So what does this mean for the league? That's where things get really interesting. Because if Shedeur succeeds, and let's be real, the potential is right there, this could break the mold. Teams will have to rethink how they evaluate young talent. It's not just about how many years you've sat behind a clipboard. It's about leadership, mental resilience, actual, undeniable performance. And if that becomes the new blueprint, you might be looking at a league that starts leaning harder into college-to-starter pipelines, bypassing the old-school learn for 3 years method. It's bold. It's risky. But if it works in Cleveland, it could work anywhere. So here we are, a rookie quarterback with a famous last name, a chip on his shoulder, and the weight of a cursed franchise on his back. A veteran pushed aside, probably muttering into his helmet. A city cautiously daring to hope again. And a fan base staring at the field thinking, please, let this be real. Is it? That's the question we'll all be watching unfold. But one thing's already clear. This isn't business as usual. The Browns didn't just pick a quarterback. They picked a future. And whether it ends in glory or flames, you know it's going to be one hell of a ride. So tell me, are you buying the Shedeur Sanders era? Is this the beginning of something legendary, or just another chapter in Cleveland's long-running quarterback tragicomedy? Drop your take in the comments. Hit that subscribe button if you want to ride the chaos with us. And remember, in the NFL, hope is dangerous, but also kind of addictive. Let's just hope this one sticks. All right, let's not stop at the announcement, because that was wild, but the real story's just beginning. Because once that QB1 decision went public, everything around the Browns started to tilt. The media frenzy, immediate. The locker room, buzzing. And fans, split like a Marvel versus DC debate. The Browns didn't just name a starter. They dropped a narrative bomb. And as the dust settles, the football world is asking, what exactly is this team now? Let's talk about what it feels like to be in that locker room right now. You got seasoned vets who've seen this team chew through quarterbacks like snacks during training camp. You got guys who've heard the same speeches. We believe in our guy. We're turning the page. This is the future. On repeat for years. And then this kid walks in. Fresh face. Massive name. Calm voice. And somehow it sticks. He's not pretending to be the alpha. He is. He's not trying to win the room with swagger. He wins it with presence. And that's the part that can be taught. You can coach mechanics. You can drill footwork. But you can't fake leadership. Either your teammates follow you or they don't. And Shedeur? They are. But don't get it twisted. This moment isn't all roses and underdog movie montages. The pressure cooker is on high. Shedeur is not stepping into a rebuilding team with nothing to lose. He's stepping into a roster that's playoff hungry, a defense that's elite, a fan base that has gone full feral from years of pain and clownish PR disasters. Every Sunday is now a referendum. Every bad throw, every sack, every hesitation will get dissected like it's Watergate. And still, he said yes. That's the part that feels different. He wants this. He didn't flinch when the offer came. He didn't shy away from the city's trauma. He took it head on. He saw the cursed jersey list, those 30-plus names with asterisks and career collapses, and said, I'm next. That takes guts. Or delusion. Maybe both. But that's exactly the kind of unhinged confidence you need to break a cycle this cursed. And let's not forget the fan reaction. Cleveland is a passionate, traumatized, loyal fan base that lives in a permanent state of guarded optimism. So when Shedeur was named the starter, there was excitement, but also fear, because they've been here before. They've been sold the guy over and over and over. But Shedeur, he's not walking in as a first-round media darling. He wasn't handed this spot. He earned it during reps most people didn't even bother watching. And that means something. It means this isn't just about hype. It's about hope that's earned. And then there's a whole nepotism conversation. Oh, it definitely showed up. The takes came flying out. He's only starting because of his dad. Dion probably pulled strings. This is a marketing stunt, not a football decision. Yawn. That argument might have made sense in April, maybe even in July. But by August, after you watched him dismantle veteran defenses in preseason and run the offense with more maturity than guys twice his age, it's tired. Here's the thing. Having a famous parent might get you in the door, but it won't keep you on the field. Not in the NFL. Not in Cleveland. Not when the city has a trauma bond with quarterback failure. Shedeur didn't inherit this moment. He took it. He showed up every single day and made it impossible for the coaches to ignore him. That's not legacy privilege. That's a work ethic that borders on maniacal. That's film study at 3 a.m. That's going through reps until your arms go numb. That's charisma, yes, but it's also grit. And let's not forget who made the call. The Browns front office has everything to lose here. You think they're going to put the fate of the franchise in the hands of someone who didn't prove it just to make a viral moment? Please, this was the antiviral decision. Because if it goes wrong, it's not just a bad season. It's their jobs. But that's how much Shedeur showed them. Enough to stake careers on it. Now here's the spicy part. The locker room shift. Because when a rookie gets a job over a Super Bowl MVP like Flacco, it changes the energy. Some guys rally. Others? Not so much. There's always quiet grumbling. The YM whispers. The he hasn't paid his dues, eye rolls. But so far, all signs point to something rare in Cleveland. Unity. The offense looks sharper. Receivers are engaged. Linemen are protective. And you don't fake that. Not in this league. Because if your teammates don't buy in, you're done before you take your first snap. So, how did he win them over? Simple. He listened. He learned. And when it was his time, he executed. He didn't walk in acting like a star. He walked in like a sponge. He soaked up the playbook. He watched film like it was a religion. He put the work in. And guys notice that. No matter how many Instagram followers you have. If you don't grind, the locker room sees it. But Shedeur, they saw the grind. Every day. And they respected it. That's why this is bigger than just a roster change. It's a culture shift. The Browns aren't just betting on a player. They're betting on a philosophy. On youth, on hunger, on upside over safety. And for a team that spent decades playing it safe and falling flat, that's revolutionary. But here's the kicker. It's not just the Browns watching. The whole league is watching. Because if this works, if Shedeur balls out, it sets a new precedent. It says to every GM, maybe you don't need a baby or rookie QB. Maybe you can throw a young guy into the fire if he's built different, if he has the right mentality, if he can lead. It shakes up the blueprint. And let's be honest, It puts a target on his back. Defenses are going to test him. Coaches are going to throw every exotic blitz package at him just to rattle the kid with a famous dad. Everyone wants to be the one who proves he's not ready. The wolves are circling. And Shedeur? He's already sharpening the knives. He knows what's coming. The pressure, the hate, the memes. And he doesn't care, because he's been doubted before. He's been told he couldn't do it. He's been overlooked. And now he's got the spotlight. And the Browns just gave him the stage. And that brings us to the heart of this entire thing. Because it's not just about a quarterback. It's about a team, a city, finally doing something bold, something terrifying, something necessary. For too long, Cleveland has chased safety, mediocrity in a helmet, veterans who won't rock the boat. And every single time, it's ended in heartbreak. But now they've chosen hope. Hope with risk, hope with fire, hope that might crash and burn, or fly higher than they've ever dared to go. So yeah, Joe Flacco is fuming. And who wouldn't be? He thought he had the job locked, and now he's back to holding a clipboard. But the Browns didn't bench him out of disrespect. They did it because they had to, because they finally saw something in a quarterback they couldn't ignore. A spark, a future, a chance to build something real. And if you followed this team for any length of time, you know how rare that is. So here we are, Shedeur Sanders, QB1, the most unlikely starter of the year, a rookie with legacy DNA and a chip on his shoulder the size of Ohio, a team ready to rewrite its past, and a city holding its breath, praying that this time, it's not just a headline, it's a turning point. Now let's see if he delivers. Because if he does, Cleveland might finally have something it hasn't had in decades. A quarterback worth believing in. All right, so picture it. Cleveland, Week 1. Crisp autumn air. The stadium packed with a strange mix of cautious optimism and full-blown superstition. Some fans are wearing Sanders jerseys already. Brand new, barely broken in. Others still clutching their Flacco signs. Like maybe someone's to reverse a decision last minute. Pull it, just kidding, and roll with the veteran after all. But nope, no switcheroo, no last-second fake-out. Shedeur Sanders jogs onto the field, helmet under his arm, calm as ever. And in that moment, you can feel it. This isn't just a game. It's a franchise walking out of its own shadow. And look, the risk is massive. This is Cleveland, a city that's practically trauma-bonded with quarterback misery. You can still find fans who flinch at the mention of Tim Couch, or Brady Quinn, or that one wild Johnny Manziel weekend where everyone thought maybe. Nope, the Browns have been through it. They've been the NFL's resident cautionary tale, the graveyard where promising quarterbacks go to wither in slow-motion disaster. And now they're handing the keys to a rookie who, despite the talent and swagger, hasn't played a single snap of regular-season NFL football. That is not a small bet. It's the kind of bet that can define careers or destroy them. Front office? On the hook. Coaching staff? Totally exposed. They're not easing Shedeur into the season. They're not calling it a developmental year. This is all in. They're tossing him into the deep end and saying, swim. But here's the crazy part. Shedeur doesn't look nervous. Not even a little bit. And that's probably most unsettling and exciting thing for everyone watching. He's got that eerie calm you only see in top-tier quarterbacks. That I've already visualized this 1,000 times in my head. Look, you see it in how he adjusts the formation, in how he locks eyes with his receiver before the snap, in how he lets the play clock tick down to 2 seconds without even flinching. This is not normal rookie behavior. This is QB1 energy, and it's contagious. The offense moves like they believe in him. The O-line tightens up. The receivers run sharper routes. There's an unspoken trust building on every play, and that's the real story here. It's not just about talent. It's about timing, chemistry, momentum, and somehow, Shedeur's already the gravitational center of the team. It's honestly kind of surreal, because again, this guy was never supposed to start this year. The original plan was classic rookie development, clipboard, headset, a few snaps late in blowouts. Maybe week 10 if things go sideways. Definitely not week 1. Definitely not over a former Super Bowl MVP. But preseason flipped the script. And look, preseason doesn't always mean much. We've seen preseason stars disappear by October. But with Shedeur, it wasn't just stats. It was how he moved, how he responded, how he handled adversity. One bad drive, he bounced back. A missed throw, he adjusted. Pocket collapsing, cool under pressure. It wasn't flashy, it was surgical. He played like a guy who's been quietly studying the NFL for years, just waiting for his moment to step in and show people he's not a celebrity quarterback. He's not just Deion's kid. He's his own name. And now the league has to deal with that. So yeah, Joe Flacco's fuming. You can feel it every time the camera cuts to him on the sideline. He's wearing the baseball cap and trying to look supportive, but there's that unmistakable jaw clench energy. And hey, who could blame him? The man signed on thinking he'd get one last shot. Instead, he's holding a clipboard and watching a rookie take over his huddle. It's a humbling moment, a bitter pill, but in a twisted way, it's the most Cleveland thing ever. Because this city doesn't do clean transitions. It doesn't do smooth rides. It does drama. It does chaos. It does quarterback controversies so spicy, they could be a menu item. And this latest chapter? It's already a classic. And yet, through all the noise, through the Flacco frustration, the fan anxiety, the media hot takes, Shedeur keeps moving forward, keeps playing, keeps leading, and it's working. The Browns' offense looks different with him under center. Faster, smarter, more fluid. The play action hits harder. The checkdowns are cleaner. He's not out there trying to be a highlight reel. He's trying to win. And that's exactly what this team has been missing. A quarterback who doesn't just want the spotlight. He wants the responsibility. That's rare. And maybe that's why this whole thing feels so dramatic, so electric, so much bigger than just one decision. Because this isn't just about starting a rookie. It's about a team and a city trying to break its own cycle. Let's be honest. Cleveland has been on a loop for decades. Draft a quarterback, hype him up, panic when things go sideways, blow it all up, rinse, repeat. It's like being stuck in a toxic relationship with the concept of potential. But this time feels like a clean break. They didn't get here by accident. They didn't chase a big name in free agency or throw a Hail Mary at a draft pick. They watched. They waited. They developed. And when Shedeur finally stepped up, they didn't hesitate. That's bold. That's rare. That's not the Cleveland we've known. So what's next? That's the question, right? Can Shedeur sustain this? Can he hold up when the pressure really hits, when the defense disguises coverages, when the pocket collapses, when the interceptions start coming? Because they will come. No rookie season is perfect. There will be ugly games. There will be learning curves. There will be moments where the crowd turns, where the media starts questioning, where Twitter demands a change. That's inevitable. The real test isn't how Shedeur handles success. It's how he handles failure. And based on what we've seen, he'll handle it like he handles everything else. Quietly, intelligently, with an almost scary level of composure. Because this isn't some hot-headed flash in the pan. This is a player who understands the long game. He's not here to impress for a week. He's here to build a legacy. That's what this is really about. The Browns aren't chasing a miracle season. They're building a new foundation, a culture where leadership matters, where merit beats legacy, where quarterbacks don't just survive, they thrive. And Shedeur, he might just be the guy to pull it off. So here's the deal. Whether you're a believer or a hater, whether you think this was a genius move or a PR stunt gone rogue, you're watching. You have to watch. Because this storyline is too good, too dramatic, too Cleveland to ignore. You've got a fan base desperate for redemption. You've got a veteran steaming on the bench. You've got a rookie rewriting the rules in real time. And you've got a franchise betting everything, on a name that used to belong to someone else, but now it belongs to him. So buckle up, because this season isn't just about football anymore. It's about faith. It's about breaking curses. It's about proving that sometimes the riskiest moves are the ones that finally change everything. And maybe, just maybe, this time, the Browns got it right.